Hi everyone, I'm Reverend Stephanie Butler Adams, and this is Sisters on Sacred Grounds, where we use affirmations, music, and coffee to create a dialogue which addresses an array of real-life issues, emotions, expressions, and experiences that only our music and its lyrics bring about, specifically in women, relationally, culturally, and spiritually, across both sacred and secular genres. Sisters on Sacred Grounds. You don't know my name. For women of color, one size never fits all. Stereotypes, respectability, socialization, and identity come into play when navigating race and gender in church, relationships, careers, and society. Let's talk about the importance of being seen, heard, and known in the life of a sister. Sisters on Sacred Grounds. Hello again, and thank you for joining us for Sisters on Sacred Grounds, where we use music, affirmations, and coffee to create a dialogue. And we deal with real issues concerning women, particularly Black women. And today, we are going to deal with identity. Identity is something that every woman deals with at some point in her life. And today, to talk about the importance of knowing who you are and what's your journey, what's your purpose, how'd you arrive here? We have the best person. I am so excited about my guest today. We have Mrs. Tahera, Rene, Christy with us. Tahera Rene Christy is the CEO and founder of Encore Presentations and the beauty brand Love Amor Prope, based in Mission Viejo, California. She hosts a popular podcast called Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy and released her debut album, Just Let Me. Tahera is an accomplished entrepreneur, singer, songwriter, actress, comedian, and MC. She's published 2 relationship books highlighting her personal battle with self-worth and co-parenting. Tahera, welcome.
Thank you
to
for
Sisters on Sacred
me.
Grounds.
Yay.
And listen, on Sisters on Sacred Grounds, we always have the best coffee brewing, right? Tahera, is it good?
So good. I can feel the love.
You feel the love in it, yes. we because I believe that once you begin to get something warm in your body, you just loosen up a bit,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And it gives you're just ready for conversation.
Right.
Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Well, listen. We're talking about the power and the importance of identity, right? And not the one that you put out there, because we have social media now and everybody's they're always going to put their best foot forward, right? But I'm talking about the real you, right? And a lot of us use social media and we're using it in a way because we're wanting people to believe what we put out there about ourselves.
We're wanting to believe it.
We're wanting to believe it, exactly. Yeah. But who are we really? And I think that we sometimes, especially as women, we don't really know exactly who we are. And that's why I'm so excited about this conversation, because especially in this season, I think that people, and especially women, are getting kind of more in tune to themselves.
Absolutely.
They've got time on their hands. Honey.
That's the key.
Yes, they've got time on their hands. And now they're asking questions.
Yeah.
So today we're dealing with identity, and as a subtitle, we're saying, you don't really know me. Mm-hmm. You don't really know my name. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had somebody that thought they knew you?
Oh my God. I think most people think that they know me because I'm a public figure, because I do a lot publicly. I've always been the type of child and an adolescent and person in general to share my life with people. And the parts that I share, they think that's the full package and the whole story. I'm like, I literally gave you the pinky tip.
The pinky tip.
Just as a case in point, when I got married, Yeah, I'm a big personality. I'm fabulous, honey, just in every aspect.
Yes.
Everybody assumed I'd come out with a 50-foot veil going down, the aisle, and just drama and just looking as fabulous. And my veil was a tiny little net over my face. It was a simple, plain dress. There was no bling. It was very simple because that's who I really am.
Wow.
I'm an introvert that enjoys being extroverted when the time is right.
Wow.
This quarantine has showed me, for example, that I really do enjoy my me time. I enjoy myself. I enjoy being by myself.
That's powerful because not a lot of people like their own company.
Right.
Well, look, I want to start this conversation off because you've written several books, but the part in one of your books, the book entitled A Safe Space for Us, A Healing Journal for Women of Color, you wrote this, right? As a Black wife, mother, sister, daughter, and friend, I was tired of being tired. I was fed up with ignoring my frustrations, and I was over neglecting my needs, wants, and desires. I was determined to speak up about my needs and demand for the world to acknowledge my strengths, weaknesses, joys, concerns, benefits, and setbacks without judgment. My question is, who is that woman?
Gosh, that woman was tired of being tired. I think that the biggest issue for especially Black women is we have so many roles. We are something different to everyone.
Yes.
And we do a great job of being that woman for those people at that particular time. We show up. We show up for everybody's everything. It's so rare that we show up for ourselves, especially when it comes to taking care of ourselves. Black women have the highest.
Show up for yourself.
I'm just saying, like, we have the highest obesity rates. We have the highest mortality rates when we have birth to our children. We have heart disease, and we have so many issues that happen as a result of a lack of self-care. And when I wrote this book, I was in the midst of one of the hardest journeys I've ever been on. My daughter had went through some issues that literally changed our entire lives. And I wrote this book to help other women, and it ended up helping me.
Wow.
When I went back to reread some of the things that I wrote, and as I was writing, I just was crying and experiencing my own healing because I found a safe space that I didn't necessarily find in any other place. I was allowed to be myself without judgment and with great care because I cared about that girl, that woman who experienced that pain. My empathy for myself for the first time was as high as it had ever been. So I'm grateful that that experience happened because I know that it enhanced the book and allowed me to give real life emotion and
real
substance to the readers who may be going through something similar themselves.
Absolutely. And just in the pages, you can tell that you put yourself in it.
Absolutely.
You put your whole self in it. So that's who you were then.
Yes.
How has your perception of your own self-worth changed, even since you wrote the book, from then to now?
It has been about a year and a half since this book has been released, and I am leaps and bounds from where I was. It's amazing what a little time will do for you. Time is the greatest gift you can give to a creative person, especially because we will create, we'll make things that benefit others. And I have learned the basics of self-worth. I think being a person who's educated and being a person who has an influence and who's in many circles, people just assume because you look good, you have it all together. That was a moment in my life where I was able to strip myself completely naked of all anxiety, worry, fear, letdowns, put downs, anything that anybody would have thought of who I was, and then build. And as I continued to build myself, something so simple as somebody says, "Girl, your hair is beautiful," I say, "Thank you."
Wow.
And nothing else.
And isn't that something?
No justifications, no put downs, no, oh, but girl, I got this at the bargain bin. I don't need none of that. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
That is me acknowledging my worth, because I am worthy.
Yeah.
And I feel that, and I believe that, and I pray that I always give that to each and every woman that I ever speak to in life.
Absolutely. That's powerful, because a lot of us feel like we have to diminish ourselves. We don't even know how to take a compliment half the time. I mean, when somebody tells you you're looking good, you want to say yes, but you're like, am I really looking good?
Right.
You know? And so that's one of the things that I love about this season,
Yes.
you know, for us as women. So Tahera, one of the common themes I see in your work, and really not just in your work, your artistry, your work as a life coach, your work, you know, you talk a lot about women healing themselves. You talk about healing themselves and releasing the baggage, right? So let me just talk about the baggage real quick, right? So I love to travel. And for the longest time, I would overpack. I had my check piece, a big old check piece with everything. I needed options. I need things in there. Carry on, everything. And I just packed that way, right? But over the last 3 years or so, I decided that, you know what? I don't need all that.
Yeah.
And I felt so free not having these extra pieces of unnecessary stuff, right? So when I think about your work as a life coach and really pushing women to heal themselves, what would you say are the two most common areas that you've identified that women of color need the most healing in?
That's a great question. I think the biggest thing, and I love your analogy of the baggage, because I too packed way too much back in the day. I've always packed workout clothes. I'm like, you're not going to work out now. Just leave that stuff at home. And I think for Black women especially, the two biggest things that we need to work through is how we see ourselves and how we see ourselves in other Black women. I feel, and from what I've experienced and seen, because we have a difficult time being accepted by society, by our families, by men, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we oftentimes neglect how amazing we are, just as we are, with our hair enhancements. Or we both have we've enhanced our beauty. We've got makeup on. We've been told we need to do these things in order to be accepted by European standards. We never had to do it. Black women are the most beautiful women on the planet.
Amen.
We're the most diverse. We have so much to offer the world, but we've been told we need to do this, 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 and that. We need to stack it up and do all these things in order just to have worth. And it's a lie. And we believe the lie. So we've got to unlearn the lie and then be reinstilled with the proper information so that we can go forth and be fruitful and amazing as we are. And then not put each other down in the process. It's really hard. You're an uplifting Black woman. I'm an uplifting Black woman. We're rare breeds in that we know who we are. And it doesn't hurt me to tell you how amazing you are. It enhances us in the community.
Exactly.
And so many women haven't been taught that. And it's an education piece. I feel that women self-soothe in general, everybody self-soothes like a baby would. You can give baby a pacifier or a toy or something to calm the baby down. But if you let the baby cry a little bit, it'll put its finger in its mouth. It'll find a way to deal with its pain. It will figure it out. But we've had so many tools shoved in our faces. We assume we need them. You didn't need that extra bag. You've put it a point in your mind to think that you needed it.
Because I didn't even use it. It was unnecessary baggage.
And when you figured that out on your own, you let it go.
Let it go.
We have to do the same process with ourselves of letting go. But it has to snap. It has to click. It has to be a situation, a circumstance that lets us say, it has to be in our faces for us to be like, oh, that's why you tend to be a little bit older when wisdom kicks in. Because you've been through enough to realize it's happened.
My goodness. So speak to the importance now of the acknowledgement.
Yes.
When I read the intro, the excerpt from your book, and you talked about being tired of being tired, and that you were worthy of acknowledgement, of how you were feeling, of what you thought. And that really spoke to me about being recognized. And I think a lot of times we as women, we hold that part of us in.
Yes.
And we don't admit, yes, I want to be acknowledged. Yes, I want to be. Talk to us about the power of being recognized when you show up in a space for who you are, whether it's in your career, in your marriage, in your relationships. Talk to us a little bit about that, Tahera.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be acknowledged. Everybody, even if you say that you don't, everybody loves a thank you.
Yes.
Everybody appreciates their presence being known.
Yes.
And I think that Black women, because we have been behind the scenes, everything from wet nursing white women's children when we were slaves, holding our men up to higher stature than maybe they should be because we didn't want them to not feel the great that they should feel.
Right.
Making sure that our children had, neglecting ourselves just so they can have, so that we can say, look at my baby, and neglecting self. We got to acknowledge ourselves and show up for ourselves first.
Yes.
If the airplane people say, put your mask on for oxygen
First.
before you put on the next person's, it's because self-preservation is truly the key to life.
Wow.
You can't preserve what you don't have.
Right.
You can't have it if you don't acknowledge it exists. And we're so, especially this generation now, we're so big on education of advanced knowledge that we forget the basics, the simple basics of life. The golden rule: treat others as you treat yourself. If you haven't treated yourself, you can't treat others.
Hi everybody, it's time for the tea about coffee. Did you know that French roast coffee is not from France? French roast coffee is named for a regional roasting style made popular through much of Europe around the turn of the 19th century. Today, the term is used most often when describing any dark roasted coffee. French roast is a really popular style that most coffee drinkers prefer. It has a smoky sweetness, intensity, and boldness. Sounds like a sister to me.
I heard a powerful message.
So good.
I heard a powerful message by Pastor John Hanna. And he said that sometimes we are hidden before we get the hookup. And when it's time for God to bring you forth, you will be unstoppable. And if I might say, not to go all deep and prophetic on anybody, because I can.
Say it, girl.
I feel that for you. That word, I felt for you. That you've been in a hidden space.
Yes.
And God's going to hook you up.
The hookup is happening.
Does that resonate with you?
Oh, child. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. And every time I say that around my kids, they're like, do, praise. Because it's so true. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow.
Did you feel it?
Oh my God. It was a literal shift in the atmosphere. It was an actual cut of a scene of my life where it just happened. And all I was doing was being myself, my true, authentic self. And then God was like, great, now I can move because you're out of the way.
Yes.
You're just doing what I literally have meant for you to be doing all this time.
Yeah. I feel that in my belly for you. Like, I really feel it for you. Let's talk about your music because, I mean, on our platform, the Black Music Experience, we highlight independent artists, and you are one, you know? And a lot of times we use secular lyrics, and I'm looking for the God in there, right? Girl, you have this cut. You have this cut on your, listen, and another thing. See, I can just ask you stuff. Isn't it great? I can just ask you stuff like, oh my God. Okay, do people say you just dropped an album? We don't make albums anymore. But what did they say? You dropped a project? You dropped a CD? What did we do? What are we saying? What is the proper terminology? Because I want to get it right.
You got it right in everything that you said. I think it's a personal preference, because for me, I did drop an album.
Okay.
If you want to put it on CD, God bless you. If you still have that technology,
Yay.
I'm available on streaming services, so it's like, but it is a full album.
Okay, and it's called Just Let Me.
Just Let Me.
Okay, came out when?
In June of 2020.
This is fantastic, girl. You have this one cut called Ebbs and Flows, right? I want to know, like, what was your process of writing that song? You are a songwriter,
yes,
and all of that. I want to know what your process was in writing the song, but then I want to know, can I find God peeping through those lyrics somewhere? Is he up in there?
The cool thing is God is in everything that I do, because God is me. God is love, and it's all through everything that I do. That's where that empathy comes from. That's God through me. And so my song lyrics come from many years of journaling, a lot of pain, and that was my outlet. And then putting it to music was just yet another outlet of purpose. And so Ebbs and Flows is, first of all, an ebb and a flow is where the tide comes in and out of the shore. And the lyrics literally explain the definition of an ebb and flow in the second verse. But that's what love is all about. Love is a push, a pull. It's a high mountain. It's a low valley. And in order to truly be in love and to love and receive love, you have to accept it all. I'm not saying accept abuse or negativity or anything that doesn't feel right or serve purpose, but allow the ebb and the flow of love to take place. And water is a healing property. So I wanted to talk about water. Water can kill and destroy, and water can heal and purify.
Yeah.
And so an ebb and a flow for me, the ebbs and flows of love and of life, is accepting the highs and the lows and remaining in love the whole time. My slogan for Amor Pro is live in love.
Live in love.
Just be in it. Just embrace it. A constant state of being.
Yes.
Love.
Well, I'm telling you, that is my favorite.
Thank you.
On the project. And I was like, yeah, I could feel God in the ebb and the flow, because we're not always on one side of it. And that's the beautiful thing, especially in this season. Tahera, talk to the young artists and encourage them today. Encourage them about showing up in the way that they don't have to be tired, of being marginalized or undervalued or anything like that. Talk to the young artists up and coming and encourage them about them knowing who they really are.
Absolutely. First of all, God bless you. You are loved. You are gifted. You are appreciated, even if you don't see it right off the bat. We are all uniquely made perfect for our purpose, and that is no exception for you. You're perfect for your purpose. And don't ever let anybody take that away from you. No matter what society may say, remember, society is one big marketing piece. They're selling something to someone. Don't be a consumer of whatever's out there that does not serve you. Be a creator. Create your destiny. Create your path for yourself, because everybody's going to tell you what direction you should go in, and it has nothing to do with where you should be. So create that path for yourself. Love yourself enough to give yourself a chance at life, because nobody's going to give it to you. So you must carve it out and make it for yourself. I believe in you, and I want you to believe in you too.
Yes, 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 yes. Tahera, Rene, Christy.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us today on Sisters on Sacred Grounds. You are a joy. You are a light. And remember that word, that no more hiding now. God is ready to bring you forth. And when he brings you forth, you're going to be unstoppable.
Amen.
Unstoppable. So we want to just say thank you all for watching today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for laughing with us and having a little coffee with us, and just being in the space that we can share exactly how sisters on sacred grounds, how we love one another. We thank you for watching. We want you to come back again, and we will see you on the next episode of Sisters on Sacred Grounds. Thank you. Bye.